Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast with your host, Charles. Enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Crypto Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, the Crypto Guy, and today we're sitting down with BitBoy Hodl. So, BitBoy, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and kind of how you got introduced to crypto?
Yeah, so I've been involved with crypto on an investing side and on, being interested in it for a long time, since 2012. Just over the last year have I become, involved in the space. But I was basically introduced to Bitcoin in 2012. It's really cool to look back at some of my emails. I actually was talking about on Twitter today. Like, I've got emails from BitInstant with Charlie Shrim, which people only know because of banking on Bitcoin, the movie on Netflix, the documentary. Looking back at some of my first Bitcoin transactions and stuff like that, it's very interesting to kind of go and look back on. So basically, I had a computer software that I had bought that was a totally harmless program. It wasn't like, from the Silk Road, but the guy just only accepted Bitcoin. So, I had to learn how to buy it and send it. It was so confusing, so much more confusing back then than even it is now to send transactions, of course. I just became fascinated with it. And I had some money left over in an account that I had found that I didn't even remember I had, and it was worth like thousands of dollars. And so I actually ended up selling a lot of my Bitcoin and making a pretty good amount of money right before Mt. Gox crashed, which is good because if I would have still had my money in Mt. Gox, it would have basically disappeared. And that was really my introduction to crypto. Really, for that first 2 years, it was investing in it and making some money, and then seeing basically the whole thing collapse and people say, like, will it survive? And so that's how I got involved and interested. And once you kind of see something like that happen, it's hard to unsee it. It's something I thought about all the time, is just watching how it could rise meteorically and then how it could fall in the same way. And over time, people were coming up with new ways to spend it. Overstock.com started taking it, and all these things. To last year, obviously, just like everyone else, my interest had gone way up, obviously. And so I decided, it was time for me to do something in the space. So I started out with a cartoon that I created called BitBoy and Hodl. He's a comic book superhero. And then Hodl is his turtle sidekick. And I had ideas of doing like a cartoon with it, and it just never really happened. And eventually I decided I wanted to make news videos and different kinds of videos. So I started my YouTube channel, and I started doing daily content last year about April. And so it's just really been a whirlwind. Through the last year, I left my job and do crypto full time now. So it's just definitely been a crazy experience going back from when I first invested in Bitcoin all those years ago to now. It's really like the centerpiece of my life, other than my family, of course.
Okay, so yeah, your story sounds like, a lot of others where originally they needed to purchase something. That kind of seems to be the big theme, is that they wanted to purchase something online. Sometimes it's drugs, other times it's not. But you made that purchase, and like you were saying, it was very complicated. With me at least, I didn't at first see it as sort of this investment vehicle. But as time slowly went on, you kind of see that price rose and dropped, like you were saying, so you kind of started to view it more as an investment vehicle. Now, moving on to this YouTube channel that you've created, that's kind of how I view you. I've seen your YouTube videos, and that's what I think you're best known for. Do you think you could speak on that process and how, getting that whole thing started? Because you talked about the comic book that kind of fell through, and then you started doing daily videos. How was the process of kind of building a group of subscribers and a YouTube channel as a whole?
Well, so for me, it's very interesting. So I started my channel either the beginning of February or the end of January. Don't know the exact date, but whenever I created it, it was for my cartoon series. And so if you go back and you look at my very earliest videos, there's like some video memes, and there's an episode, there's like some music videos that I made that were animated. And I'm not an animator, but I learned how to animate because I was like so excited about doing this cartoon character. It was just the greatest idea I ever had, I thought. And so what happened is I started making these videos, I was spending hours. Like I spent an entire week, 7 days a week, working on my first episode that was about, I think it was 6.5 minutes long, trying to animate it and, animate it for someone that doesn't know how to animate. And I'm really not that artistic. And over time, I was never going to get anywhere building a channel like that because, unfortunately, due to the markets, people were fleeing crypto in droves. And so what you might see is you might see somebody, some of the bigger guys like Data Dash or Crypto Love or Crypto Crow, who a lot of those guys are good friends of mine. But you see their subscriber numbers and they're way overinflated, not because they did anything wrong, just because so many people who subscribed during that window, they were getting like 2,500 subscribers a month, or no, excuse me, a week at that time when the bull run was happening, because there was so much interest in crypto. But now so many of those people have left. And so for me, I really did not even start building my channel until the bull run was over. What I saw is the interest wasn't there for me to spend that many hours on a crypto cartoon or a crypto music video. There wasn't enough interest to justify the amount of time I was spending on it. I said, you know what? I can start making news videos because I'm reading news videos every day. I'm reading news every day. I'm watching news videos every day. Very, very, very involved in the space. And so I decided that was a much better route for me to build a channel. And so that's what I started doing. So around April, which was basically, April was officially, the end of March and April was like the official end to the interest in crypto. If you go back and look, that was when the last hopium had kind of occurred, where people thought it's going to go up. And then it went back down. We went right back up to 10,000 and it went crashing back down, of course, right? So because of that, I have built my channel completely in the bear market without interest for crypto. And for me, there's there's some regret that I didn't start earlier, because I wish I could have even if I had started doing daily content in January, there was still enough interest to bump those subscriber numbers up. But I've had to grind for every single subscriber on my channel. And I feel like what that's done is it's made me really realize how important the quality of my content is, how important it is to come with a different angle. Because if we're all coming with the same news stories, all the people that do news videos or all the people that do coin reviews, people aren't going to really appreciate that. So what I try to do is I try to look for interesting angles, and somebody who really I pattern my channel after, who does an excellent job at this, is Crypto Daily. If you watch his videos, you get content with him that you don't get with other people. It may be the same story, but he comes with a different perspective and a different angle. And I can tell he definitely has a similar thought process that I do with it, which is, if I'm going to do a video, I need it to be unique. I need people to have a reason to watch my video compared to somebody else's video that may be kind of around the same topic. And so that's what I've done. The other way that I've built my channel is through contests and giveaways. I do a lot of contests. I do a lot of giveaways. They're not sponsored. It comes right out of my own pocket, because with cryptocurrency, obviously we can't advertise. We don't have advertising channels that you can have if you have a fitness product. You can have a regular website, you can advertise through Facebook, you can advertise through Twitter, Instagram, Google AdWords. You can't do that with crypto. And so because of that, look at, in my mind, the dollar value that you would like to spend on advertising and use that money in a different way. So that's why I do, I've had months where I gave away $500 on contests, or actually even more if you combine what I've done with Twitter. You got to do something to get people interested. What I say is, a lot of people come to my channel or they follow me on Twitter for the giveaways, but they stay for the content. And, I've really worked hard to develop a very strong community. It's called the Bit Squad. And I've got a Bit Squad Telegram chat. And I know my people, and they're like family to me. Like, that may sound kind of silly, but the people that are in my community, they're like family to me. Like, I love those guys and those girls that are in my community. I make sure that I always do everything I can to not only give them the best content, but also to try to protect them if there's something that might be a scam. Like, I do my best to try to look out for my people. I don't treat them like clients or customers or something, So that's the way that I've really gone about building my channel. And I think I built a good baseline so that one day when the interest does return, hopefully I've built something that will be able to really grow and develop into something a lot bigger down the road. And I'm willing to make those sacrifices on the short end to be able to get the bigger results in the long term.
Definitely. So I know you touched on a lot there. Kind of just want to do a little recap for everyone who's listening. So like you said, you started with the animation and quickly realized that you were just kind of putting too much into it and it was taking up too much time for what you were really getting out of it. So, really play to your strengths. I think you quickly found out that news videos were your strength. And then once you started making the news videos, you realized that you really need to put your own unique spin on it. You can't just be like everybody else. So for new people, if you're trying to create some sort of YouTube channel, be unique, be yourself. Let's see, what else did you touch on? Great way to bring interest to your channel is to do sort of these contests or giveaways. I know a lot of people see them in the crypto sphere on crypto Twitter. It's a great way to bring people, to get eyes on what you're doing. You do the giveaway, but then you keep them and they're retained due to your content. So make sure that the content's there. You can't just throw out a giveaway and expect people to stay if you're not continuously putting out good content. And then lastly, you touched on the Bit Squad, which is kind of the community you've built around yourself and the YouTube channel. So make sure that you're really building a strong sense of community with your viewers. Moving on from kind of building it up and growing, can you talk to us about what you're most excited for in the coming months to the next year?
Yeah, the thing I think we're all the most excited about, will be if the markets turn around, right? Because when you're an influencer, I know a lot of people don't like that word, which is really silly to me, is just a word. But I think a lot of people don't like the word influencer because Kim Kardashian's an influencer, and people like to think that they're better than her, which is crazy because she's like the number one out there, the best influencer out there in terms of.
Honestly, people like to hate, but she's a genius, really.
No question.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I don't like this whole hate for this influencer / content creator. As
it's so silly. Yeah. And so that's why I almost become a dirty word, but it is a crypto influencer and someone who does have a community. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all kinds of different platforms. Like for those of us that are involved in that way, the bull run is not just financial for our bags. That's what we refer to our crypto holdings as. Yes, our crypto holdings will go way up in a bull market. The attention that will come back to crypto from that bull market is actually more valuable than whatever amount of crypto you have, because that's how you can actually make more money down the road. So, it's not just a bull run for financial dollars. It's a bull run for YouTube. It's a bull run for Twitter. It's a bull run for Instagram. And the thing that I'm really the most excited about for this next year is my podcast, Beards and Bitcoins. Because I feel like I've got my channel really to where I'm in a groove. I know what I'm doing with it. It's going very well. Love my community there. The podcast is something I'm really trying to build. It's just a totally different medium. Obviously, I'm on a podcast right now. So, as I understand, you see the value of a podcast. So really for me, for my goals this year, it's really going to be to continue to grow my channel, we've got continue to grow the podcast. I've got Anthony Pompliano coming on in a couple weeks. I'm really excited about that. I'm just really excited to see how big of a guest I can get. We had John McAfee on late last year. We got Pomp coming on. I want to try to get, this is somebody that people don't really probably know, but Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a basketball player for the Brooklyn Nets. And he actually is really big into crypto. So trying to get him on the show as well. So excited to see where that goes. And just, one of my other kind of personal goals is to just continue to improve the quality of my videos, to learn more about video editing, to be able to make the presentation of what I'm doing better. Because when I first started my channel and I first started getting into news videos, and I think that this, for your listeners that want to get into YouTube, I think this is a good strategy. Build a backlog of content. You want to build a lot of videos. The reason is, number one, you just want to have a lot of content that can get you clicks. YouTube likes it better when you have more content. But number two, you get the experience of learning how to make videos. But I think at some point, you really start to understand that the quality becomes more important than the quantity. And it's really just a huge thing for you to do to continue to increase the quality of your videos. And so over this next year, over the last year, I was nominated for 2018 for some of the crypto influencer awards. I was nominated for Influencer of the Year, along with Crypto's News, Crypto Daily, Crypto Zombie, and Tone Vase. So it was like pretty distinguished company I'm in there with. I was nominated for 4 other awards, but the one that I wasn't nominated for that I would like to be next year is best production quality. So I really want my production quality to continue to improve so that what people are watching is not only interesting, it's aesthetically pleasing, it sounds good, and things like that. So really excited. I'm getting ready to move to a permanent place. I've been in a temporary living situation after we sold our last house. And I've got a new desk that's going to be really awesome. It's going to help me. It has like a hydraulic lift where I can raise it and lower it for, depending on where I want to put my computer to record a video. So, it's a little things like that I think will help me, to improve the quality and then the ease at which I'm able to record.
So again, a lot of stuff there. Touched on your social media. You talked about a lot of social media sites, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So
I talk a lot and I rant.
The listeners love it. I love it. But no, the reason I bring that up is that, for anyone who's listening, check out all of BitBoy's social media, his Instagram, his YouTube, his Twitter. I'll have all the links for those in the description. You got your podcast coming up, which is super awesome. And then what I really love about your answer to this question is that, I said, what are you looking forward to? And you brought it back to yourself and improving yourself. Your main focus of that answer was improving the quality of your own videos, something that a lot of people haven't mentioned when I've asked this question. So that's super awesome that was where you took that. So as kind of a final question to wrap everything up, the main point of this podcast was to teach people how to build up a solid following on YouTube and how to kind of get started on YouTube, because as we all know, you're killing it on YouTube. So if you didn't have these viewers, your subs went to 0 and you had to kind of start over, what is the first thing that you would do to kind of get yourself back on track and get that YouTube back up to where it is now?
Yeah, man, that is a great question. I think the best answer would be to just keep what I'm doing now. That would be the thing, because I've already gotten to a point where I know unequivocally, if I were to have started my channel today, the things and all the things that I've learned over the last year, then it would be much easier. I wouldn't have to make as many videos. What I would learn is to make better videos, and so I think that if I were to start my channel today compared to when I started it last year around this time, I think I would be miles ahead, because just based on my experience and based on what I know. So I think that there's not, because here's the problem with that question is I think it implies, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you asking the question, but inherently with that question, it implies that there's some kind of shortcut. Oh, and if I only knew what I know now I could take a shortcut and I could do, if I focused on this the most. But with YouTube, you have to do the work. You have to get the experience. And it's one thing that I really pride myself on, and I've already kind of said it, is the way that I treat my community like their family. We talk about family sometimes in the Telegram chat. We talk about, how's your day going? It's not all about charts. We make jokes, talk about movies we've watched. And if you treat the people in your community right, from your first 10 subscribers, first 1,000 subscribers, all the way to your first 100,000 subscribers, then on YouTube, you will succeed. We just see a lot of people that, there's two ways to go about making a YouTube channel in crypto, in my opinion. You've got the one way, which is to be a faceless voice. You can just, be a voice on top of a video. Nobody ever sees your face. You can be more liberal about things that you say because you're not held accountable. Nobody knows who you are. The other way is to make yourself super known to your audience. And that's what I do. I get vulnerable with my audience. I talk about my personal life with my audience. I really kind of draw them into my life, and I want to be drawn into their lives, And so I think when you do all those things together, you continue to improve your quality, you take quality over quantity, and you treat the people in your community good, you will get back to those same numbers one day. Because what we've seen, and this is very interesting, I've seen this over and over again on Twitter. Someone will have their account banned and they will lose their account. The work that they've done on Twitter pouring into their community, and so when their account gets banned, they can get almost right back up to the amount of followers they had beforehand pretty easily, or at least about the same number of engaged followers. So I think that's really key. You want to make yourself remembered, so people that know who you are, not like, oh, who is that one guy I watched on YouTube that one day? You don't ever want anyone to say that. You definitely want to, it's not about making a name for yourself, but like I said, make yourself known.
Definitely. So again, I just like to go over everyone's answers, because there's a lot that, a lot of information that's being thrown out there. So like you said, I think the most important thing is kind of building that community and family. We've touched on it so many times, but it really is the most important thing. When you're starting, start small, bring more people in slowly, and as you grow, this family that you've created will really be there and will support you. You know, you started your YouTube, like you said, in January or February. So that was when the market was starting to decline. And over the last year that we've continued to see this market decline, but for some reason you have been able to continue to grow your subscribers and grow your channel. And I think what I can attribute that to, just from talking to you today, is the perseverance that you've had. You know, you've continued to pump out content, you've continued to make videos, you've continued to improve on the quality. And that falls to the wayside sometimes when people don't see instant success, like maybe some of the people who started their channel in 2017 and saw this huge influx of subscribers and views. So I think that's also extremely important.
One more point on that, which is that you have to be super passionate about what you're making the channel about, because I've been that guy that made a channel before and it was a great business idea, but it wasn't something I was very passionate about. And I hated making those videos every day. And I got to the point where I could not do it anymore. So, definitely if you're going to start a YouTube channel about crypto, you need to make sure you're super passionate about crypto, or not, or if you don't, then, you'll be one of these people that went to the wayside and don't continue to make content.
I mean, the good thing about crypto and the crypto space that I've noticed is that almost everyone who is in the space seems to be extremely passionate about crypto. And if they aren't, it kind of shows in the content that they're creating, whether it be YouTube or podcasts or on Twitter, really anywhere. You can tell that they kind of just fade into obscurity. So that's one thing I really do like, is that everyone, at least that I've seen, has been extremely passionate. Well, thank you, BitBoy, for sitting down with me and talking to me today. I really appreciate it. You've dropped some super insightful knowledge bombs for anyone trying to kind of start out on YouTube and grow their YouTube channel. So again, I just want to say thank you for sitting down and talking with us.
Of course, man. I appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to see your podcast grow as well.
All right, guys, that wraps up another episode, and I just want to take a quick second to ask you a huge favor. If you found anything in the episode helpful, or it's been inspiring to you in any way, I just ask that you share it with your friends, family, anyone you know on social media, and hopefully we can help them out as well. Have a good one.